Buying an electric car in 2026 means watching thousands of dollars vanish the moment you drive off the lot, unless you pick the right model. The 9 vehicles below lose less money than the competition, protect your investment with proven battery longevity, and remain in strong demand on the used market. Number 9. Nissan Leaf. The 2026 Nissan Leaf starts at roughly $29,000, and while that entry price is tempting, prospective buyers need to understand exactly where this car lands on the depreciation curve before signing any paperwork. Industry data shows the Leaf loses approximately 63 to 66% of its original value over 5 years, leaving a typical residual somewhere around $11,000 to $12,500. That sounds harsh in isolation, but context matters. The Leaf's low purchase price means the total dollar amount lost is considerably smaller than what owners of $40,000 or $50,000 electric vehicles surrender, and the car's new platform, offering up to 303 miles of range, pushes used market demand higher than any prior generation achieved. The 8-year, 100,000-mile battery warranty backs up that confidence with contractual protection, and real-world reports consistently show cells retaining usable capacity well beyond the coverage window. Where the Leaf truly earns its place on this list is its sheer volume advantage. More units in circulation mean more verified ownership histories, more replacement parts in stock, and more mechanics who understand the system. For anyone who wants to buy an affordable electric car, drive it for several years, and sell it without absorbing a catastrophic loss, the 2026 Leaf delivers a predictable and manageable depreciation trajectory that few rivals at this price point can match. Number 8. Toyota bZ4X. Toyota built its entire brand reputation on vehicles that hold their value decade after decade, and the 2026 bZ4X is the company's attempt to extend that reputation into the battery electric segment. Starting at approximately $34,900, the bZ4X carries a 5-year depreciation forecast of roughly 46 to 58% depending on the source, which translates to a residual value between $15,900 and $17,800. Dealers and private buyers alike assign a trust premium to Toyota products because the brand's history with hybrid powertrains, spanning more than 2 decades, signals engineering conservatism and component durability. The bZ4X benefits from a complimentary Toyota Care Maintenance plan covering the first 2 years or 25,000 miles, which means the earliest portion of ownership costs almost nothing beyond electricity. Once that coverage expires, routine upkeep remains minimal because the drivetrain requires no oil changes, no transmission fluid, and no exhaust system repairs. The battery carries an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and Toyota's thermal management approach keeps cell degradation modest through aggressive liquid cooling. On the used market, bZ4X listings move faster than average because budget-conscious second owners recognize that Toyota's reliability pedigree translates to fewer surprise repair bills. If you are looking for a competitively priced electric crossover that benefits from a manufacturer's decades-long reputation for durability, the bZ4X positions itself as one of the safer bets against steep depreciation in 2026. Number 7. Hyundai Ioniq 5. The 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 5 begins at approximately $35,000 for the base configuration, placing it squarely in the mainstream crossover bracket where resale competition is fierce. Data from multiple valuation services projects a 5-year depreciation rate of roughly 55 to 60%, which means the car should retain somewhere around 40 to 45% of its original sticker, landing used values in the $22,000 to $26,000 range. That retention figure is strong for a non-Tesla electric vehicle and reflects genuine demand on the secondary market. Part of the reason is architecture. The Ioniq 5 rides on Hyundai's dedicated 800-volt platform, which enables ultra-fast charging from 10 to 80% in approximately 18 minutes. That capability does not degrade meaningfully over time, and second owners receive the same charging speed advantage the original buyer enjoyed. The 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty further protects resale value because it transfers to subsequent owners, giving used car shoppers a contractual safety net that many competing brands cannot offer. Hyundai's growing network of service centers and its partnership with Electrify America for charging also elevate buyer confidence. If you want an electric vehicle that combines modern fast-charging technology, a transferable long-term warranty, and a depreciation curve that outperforms most of the electric crossover segment, the Ioniq 5 makes a compelling financial case in 2026. Number 6. Tesla Model 3. The 2026 Tesla Model 3 starts at $38,380, and its resale story hinges on one undeniable advantage. Brand recognition drives used market demand more than almost any other single factor, and Tesla dominates electric vehicle mindshare. Depreciation studies peg the Model 3's 5-year value loss between 39 and 61%, depending on the data source and assumptions used. But the most commonly cited range is around 45 to 55%, leaving a residual value between $20,000 and $24,000. Those numbers outperform the majority of competing sedans in the electric space. The Model 3's over-the-air software updates play a critical role here because second and third owners receive functional improvements, better navigation, enhanced autopilot behavior, increased efficiency through firmware optimization at no additional cost, making older units feel closer to new than any traditional automaker can replicate. Tesla's supercharger network adds further value because no other manufacturer offers anything as extensive or as seamlessly integrated, and that infrastructure advantage keeps used Model 3 demand high among buyers who prioritize road trip convenience. If your primary concern is minimizing the dollar amount lost between purchase and eventual sale, the Model 3 remains one of the strongest resale performers in the electric sedan category for 2026. Number 5. Polestar 2. The Polestar 2 occupies an interesting niche in the 2026 used electric market, with original transaction prices ranging from the mid-$40,000 range up to approximately $65,000 depending on specification. Depreciation data shows the car loses roughly 18% per year on average, with a 5-year cumulative loss of approximately 45 to 55%, leaving typical resale values between $28,000 and $35,000. That retention sits near the top of the non-Tesla luxury electric segment and reflects several factors working in the Polestar 2's favor. First, production volume has remained deliberately limited compared to mass-market rivals, which prevents the used market from flooding with supply and cratering prices. Second, the Polestar 2 shares its platform and many components with Volvo, a brand associated with safety engineering and structural longevity, and that perception transfers positively to resale. The battery system uses an 82 kilowatt-hour pack with careful thermal management, and owners report strong capacity retention over time, a critical variable for any used electric vehicle buyer evaluating how much range remains after years of charge cycles. The car's over-the-air update capability keeps software fresh, and Polestar's partnership with Google for the infotainment operating system means map and app updates continue for years after purchase. Where the Polestar 2 faces headwinds is brand awareness. Many mainstream buyers simply do not know what it is, which can lengthen time on lot for used examples. However, for informed buyers who understand the product, the combination of limited supply, premium positioning, and solid battery health creates a depreciation profile that protects invested dollars better than most competitors at this price point. Number 4. Volkswagen ID.4. The 2026 Volkswagen ID.4 starts at $46,570, and its 5-year depreciation is projected at roughly 63% according to aggregate valuation tools, placing the estimated residual value near $19,500. On paper, that looks steep, but several structural advantages prevent the ID.4's resale story from being purely negative. Volkswagen backs the high-voltage battery with an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and the thermal management system uses active liquid cooling to protect cell health through thousands of charge cycles. Real-world reports from early model ID.4 owners show battery capacity staying well above 85% after significant mileage accumulation, which gives used market shoppers confidence that range will remain competitive years into ownership. The ID.4 also benefits from Volkswagen's massive global service infrastructure. Parts availability is broad, technician training is established, and independent shops are increasingly comfortable working on the platform, all factors that reduce the cost of ownership anxiety that can suppress used electric vehicle prices. Another resale tailwind is the federal tax credit structure, which can apply to qualifying used electric vehicles and effectively lower the net acquisition cost for second buyers, stimulating demand. Where the ID.4 loses ground compared to Tesla is in charging network integration and software polish, both of which influence buyer perception on the used lot. However, for anyone willing to accept a slightly less seamless digital experience in exchange for Volkswagen's engineering heritage, extensive dealer support, and a well-protected battery system, the ID.4 offers a defensible resale position in the increasingly crowded electric crossover segment of 2026. Number 3. Hyundai Kona Electric. The 2026 Hyundai Kona Electric carries a starting price near $34,470, and its compact dimensions combined with approachable pricing create a resale dynamic that differs meaningfully from larger, more expensive electric crossovers. Depreciation forecasts indicate a 5-year value loss of approximately 55 to 60%, translating to a residual between $14,000 and $16,000. While the percentage loss looks substantial, the absolute dollar amount surrendered is among the lowest on this list precisely because the purchase price is lower to begin with. A buyer loses roughly $20,000 over 5 years rather than the $30,000 or $35,000 figure attached to pricier models. The Kona Electric's resale case strengthens further when you factor in Hyundai's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which transfers to subsequent owners and remains one of the longest coverage periods in the industry. Battery health data from earlier Kona electric generations shows cells retaining usable capacity deep into 6-figure mileage territory, provided the owner follows the recommended coolant change interval to prevent crystallization within the thermal management circuit. On the used market, demand for affordable electric vehicles continues to grow because second and third buyers tend to be more price-sensitive, and the Kona Electric's low entry point on the used lot positions it perfectly for that demographic. If you want an electric vehicle that minimizes total dollars lost rather than optimizing for retention percentage, the Kona Electric is one of the smartest financial plays available in 2026. Number 2. Tesla Model Y. The 2026 Tesla Model Y starts at $41,630 including destination, and it dominates used electric vehicle sales volume in a way no competitor has managed to approach. 5-year depreciation estimates cluster between 58 and 62% according to multiple tools, yielding a projected residual value near $19,600. But those aggregate figures mask an important reality. Demand for used Model Y units remains extraordinarily high because the car serves as the default recommendation in nearly every electric vehicle buying guide, and that cultural momentum sustains resale prices even when raw percentage depreciation looks comparable to rivals. Over-the-air updates also contribute meaningfully, because a 3-year-old Model Y receives the same software improvements as a brand new unit, preventing the obsolescence feeling that plagues traditionally updated vehicles. Battery durability data across hundreds of thousands of Model Y units shows approximately 15% capacity degradation after 200,000 miles, which means even a high-mileage used example still delivers over 200 miles of range. For anyone who views an electric vehicle purchase as a financial decision first, the Model Y remains the benchmark for protecting invested capital in 2026. Number 1. Kia EV6. The 2026 Kia EV6 starts at $42,900, and it earns the top position on this list because its combination of usable technology, transferable warranty, and strong used market demand produces one of the most favorable resale outcomes in the electric vehicle segment. 5-year depreciation data shows the EV6 losing roughly 60 to 61% of its value, placing the estimated residual near $23,000, a figure that outperforms most non-Tesla electric vehicles in the same price bracket. The reason is multifaceted. First, the EV6 rides on the same 800-volt architecture as the Ioniq 5, enabling 10 to 80% charging in approximately 18 minutes, and that fast charging capability retains its full speed as the car ages, giving used buyers an experience virtually identical to new. Second, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty transfers to subsequent owners, offering a contractual guarantee that dramatically reduces perceived risk on the secondary market. Third, battery health reports from early EV6 units demonstrate capacity retention above 90% through at least 50,000 miles, and projections based on cell chemistry suggest usable life extending well past 200,000 miles. If you want to spend approximately $43,000 on an electric vehicle in 2026 and lose the fewest possible dollars when you sell it years later, the Kia EV6 stands as the strongest choice available. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.